Hello and welcome to my channel Lifestyle and Fashion Tea. Today we're going to get into some of America's first black millionaires. According to an analyst of Federal Reserve data, black families are far less likely to be millionaires than white families. Wow, you think? While shrinking, this trend is rooted in the long-standing racial wealth gap that has persisted since the civil rights era. With these modern-day facts in mind, early black millionaires have drawn attention as entrepreneurs who overcame significant structural barriers to achieve stunning success and wealth across a variety of areas. They have also won attention as underappreciated contributors to the formation of America's capitalism, with black contributions to development such as industrialization gaining recognition in recent decades. Though Madam C.J. Walker is often cited as the nation's first black millionaire, there were several who predated her. The first black millionaire was likely William Alexander Leidesdorff, according to some authors. In recent years, billionaires has displaced millionaires as a stand-in for the height of success. So let's start with William Leidesdorff. William Alexander Leidesdorff was born 1810, was likely America's first black millionaire. Leidesdorff, who had immigrated to the U.S. from Danish West Indies, owned the first steamship in San Francisco Bay. He also accomplished a list of other notable firsts, including setting up the first public school in California and creating the first hotel and the first waterfront warehouse in San Francisco. According to historical accounts, Leidesdorff became a naturalized U.S. citizen in Louisiana in 1834, where he became a ship captain. He landed in California around 1841. It was there, where he spent the rest of his short life, that he would accumulate a fortune in commerce and real estate in the lead up to the California gold rush. He eventually became a millionaire when gold was found on his property. Leidesdorff was active in business and politics. During the Mexican rule of California, he functioned as the U.S. Vice Consul at San Francisco, and he aided the Californians who undermined Mexican control of the region. He was also a city treasurer, councilman, and school committee member. He died unexpectedly of a fever in 1848 because he hadn't set up a will and was a dual citizen. His fortune was auctioned off after much confusion. It was estimated to have been worth around $1,445,056. His name, again, Mr. William Alexander Leidesdorff. Next, we have John Stanley. John Carruthers Stanley, born 1774 to 1845, was a mixed-race former slave who himself became perhaps the biggest slave owner in North Carolina. Upon being freed, Stanley became a barber, a relatively stable trade at that time. Eventually, he was able to purchase his wife's and children's freedom. Stanley would come to own two plantations on Bachelor's Creek near the Neuse River and several houses and businesses. Stanley's involvement in real estate, cotton farming, and turpentine manufacturing made him one of the wealthiest men in the country. His name again, John Carruthers Stanley. Number 3, we have Jeremiah Hamilton. Jeremiah Hamilton, born 1806, died 1875, was Wall Street's first black trader. He made his fortune in New York in the 19th century. Not much is known about Hamilton's early life, but he immigrated to New York after fleeing Haiti, where he helped bring in counterfeit coins from a consortium of New York merchants. Litigious, secretive, and shrewd, Hamilton cut a figure in real estate speculation, deal brokering, and insurance fraud when the business in the state was primarily unregulated. A man of twisting fortunes, Hamilton lost his fortune, which he would later rebuild in the 1837 financial panic, and outwitted a lynch mob during the Civil War draft riots. By the time of his 1875 death, he left his family a sizable fortune, estimated to be worth about $2 million, or about $250 million in today's currency. In expectation in every sense, Hamilton apparently showed little interest in racial struggles and was disliked by the black press of his time. He also invested in railroads that wouldn't serve black passengers or that segregated their compartments. His name again, Jeremiah Hamilton. Number 4, Mary Ellen Pleasant. Mary Ellen Pleasant, 1815 to 1904, was the most powerful black woman operating in San Francisco in the heat of California's gold rush. She may have been born a slave, but by the 1820s, she lived in New England and was involved with the Underground Railroad. While there, she married James Smith, who left her a significant amount of money upon his death. She left for San Francisco in 1852. Accounts of her life suggest she fled due to her abolitionist work. Pleasant invested the money she inherited from her husband, including in profitable investments in real estate and mining stocks, and apparently she listed her profession as capitalist on an 1890 census form. She was active in advancing the abolitionist cause. Pleasant provided financial support for fiery abolitionist John Brown, funding his raid on Harper's Ferry. She admitted this to reporters at the end of her life and had friend John Brown inscribed on her tombstone. She was also a plaintiff in a case that went to California Supreme Court and led to a decision that held that segregating streetcars were unconstitutional. Her name again, Mary Ellen Pleasant. Number 5, Robert Reed Church. Robert Reed Church, Sr., born 1839 to 1912, was born to a white steamboat captain and an enslaved seamstress in Mississippi. Reed was enslaved after being captured while serving as a steward on the Victoria steamer during the Civil War. After being freed, he settled in Memphis. He made his money primarily in real estate, but also ran a hotel and other businesses, including a saloon. He opened an auditorium, Churches Park and Auditorium, for Black members of the community, where President Theodore Roosevelt later spoke. He was also involved with founding the Solvent Savings Bank and Trust Company and saving the Beale Street Baptist Church from foreclosure. His name, again, Robert Reed Church. Number 6, Madam C.J. Walker. Madam C.J. Walker was born 1867. She died 1919. She started a life as a Louisiana sharecropper born to formerly enslaved parents in 1867. Is usually cited as the first Black millionaire. She became a successful business owner in New York in the Progressive Era, some decades after the end of Reconstruction, when successful Black businesses were relatively rare, but when targeted violence against Black entrepreneurs was not. The infamous 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre, for instance, which burned Black Wall Street, a nationwide symbol of Black success in the Greenwood district of Oklahoma, to ashes, occurred 2 years after Walker's death. Walker made her fortune selling beauty products. Annie Malone, an entrepreneur in the beauty industry and the inventor of the pressing comb and the wonderful hair grower, also made a fortune in hair care products and is often discussed alongside Walker. In terms of net worth, however, Walker was not the first Black millionaire. Shomari Wills, who authored Black Fortune, a book about the first half dozen Black millionaires in the country, argues that Walker has become memorialized as the first Black millionaire because earlier millionaires were less flamboyant about their success, fearful that it might make them a target of reprisal. The former slave Robert Reed Church, Wills writes, was shot in the head during the Memphis race riots of 1866 because he was noted as a wealthy Black man. Though he survived the attack after he regained his status, but remained careful to keep himself from becoming a target in this account. It was the cultural perception of Walker as wealthy that accounts for her citation as the first Black millionaire. This sort of sounds familiar because they didn't want to be flamboyant. So is this what happened to Shador? History repeats itself. So as far back as in the 1800s, 1700s, 1800s, they were scared to show their wealth. And now we are in 2025. And if you show your wealth, you're still being considered as cocky. Make that make sense, please. But let's continue. Her stylish and flamboyant self, name again, Madam C.J. Walker. You go, girl. Number 7, we have Daniel Murray. Daniel A.P. Murray, born 1852 to 1925, was a librarian at the Library of Congress for more than half a century. Murray climbed the social order of Washington, D.C., after catching the attention of a senator in the Librarian Congress. Eventually, he made a fortune as a business owner and developer. Murray is mainly remembered for advancing Black Americans' literary accomplishments in concert with the work of Booker T. Washington and W.E.B. Du Bois. However, The end of Reconstruction reduced Murray's wealth, and he was buried after his death in a segregated graveyard. His name again, Daniel Murray. Black businesses was an object of study for writers like W.E.B. Du Bois, with high points in the second half of the 20th century. Nonetheless, prior to Juliet Walker's 1998 book, The History of Black Business in America, Capitalism, Race, Entrepreneurship, most historical accounts took the view that Black Americans lacked a substantial business tradition, citing their relatively few big businesses. Walker's book persuasively shows that Black business owners have run fewer big-scale businesses because of racism, especially through government institutions, scholars say. Black millionaires didn't exist before the 19th century, but Walker documents examples of successful enterprises. Black Americans, we are beautiful and smart, and we have been since the beginning of time. Please, let's keep these things going. Let's support each other and love each other. And remember, we are nothing without each other. Thank you for watching and listening. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And let me know in the comments if you have a business. What is your business? And out of the 7 that I talked about today, were you familiar with any? Would you like for me to read up on more or speak about more? Again, let me know your thoughts and your feelings. Thank you.